This week at Lebanon Road, we're talking about the fruit of the Spirit, peace. This is Adam Fawn. I'm joined as always by J.D. Buckner, and we've been doing these videos now for about 2 or 3 weeks. We've been going through the fruit of the Spirit. I'm enjoying this, J.D., just kind of taking this apart a little bit and actually having some direction in the video.
Yeah, it's nice.
But we have, if you haven't been watching these videos or don't know what we're doing, you can go to our website, LebanonRoadChurchOfChrist.org, and on the homepage there's a link there to the This Week at Lebanon Road videos, and all of our archives are there, and you can go back the last 2 or 3 weeks. We have a little introductory video 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then we had a video on love and joy, and now, JD, it's time to talk about peace.
Peace. Peace is a great word. It's a great concept, isn't it? And as we were looking at this word for this week, I kind of thought about back to the very beginning of this discussion. We just sort of talked about the fruit of the Spirit in general, and we keyed in on Galatians 5 and verse 17, where we talked about how the Spirit it goes against the flesh. They're contrary to one another. So there's a struggle there, a real struggle. Well, the opposite of struggle is peace. Yeah. So just this one in particular made me think back to the very beginning of our fruit of the Spirit discussion. When you think of peace, I don't know what you think of, Adam, but some people might think of war.
I was going to say, I think of everything that's not on the news.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good, especially with all the Syria stuff and everything like that. We think of the absence of war or two warring communities or nations who come together and they have terms and they decide on peace. And that may make us think of this in this situation where we talk about the flesh and the spirit and making peace between those two. And I think there might be a discussion there, but really I don't think we should make peace with our flesh. In that kind of way, say, okay, you can have this, and my spirit side will have this, and we'll come to terms and have peace. I'm not sure that's exactly what God's talking about.
It's not always just compromise.
Right. Yeah. So I looked up some definitions, of course, like we just said, non-warring conditions of a nation or group of nations. A state of mutual harmony between people or groups, especially in personal relations. I thought that one was pretty good. I looked up in a reputable Greek lexicon, which is abbreviated BDAG. You can look that up. It's a bunch of guys' names who worked on it. It's a really good one, and it's really thick. But they said in this verse, peace here means a state of harmony. Harmony in personal relationships. And when we look at peace in that way, I think that's really something that goes along with all this discussion we've had before. With the love, with the joy, with the peace, this whole idea of cultivating and bearing fruit. Living in harmony with yourself and in those around you is something that certainly Christians would want to strive for.
Yeah, and here again, we've mentioned this, I guess, every week we've been in this series of videos, but it's not easy. This is something that's going to take work.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that I think, especially, maybe in my mind, I may be wrong about this, but I think sometimes when we consider peace, we think, why don't we have to do anything? And everything will just be peaceful if I just kind of sit back if I just kind of sit back and, just kind of sit on the front porch and everything will just, the breeze will start blowing just because I'm, But that's not at all what God's talking about. He's talking about something that's going to take a lot of work because, well, frankly, I'm a person, other people are people, and people are kind of knuckleheaded sometimes.
Yeah, myself included.
Since I am a person, I fully understand that.
Yeah, this whole idea of trying to keep harmony within yourselves and in your relationships, that does take work, and it has to be instigated by a person.
Yeah.
If you are in strife or conflict with someone, in order to have peace or harmony, someone has to institute that. So who's it going to be?
Yeah.
Well, if you're a person who's trying to exemplify the fruits of the Spirit, it's going to be you.
Mm-hmm.
And that does take a lot of work. Just like you said, sometimes I'm the knucklehead, sometimes someone else is the knucklehead. But despite whoever it is, it's up to me to reach that peace within myself and then with others around me.
That's right. Obviously, I think that's why Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." It's kind of blessed is the one who kind of takes the first step in doing this. But I think also, not to chase a rabbit here, but I can be a peacemaker even if I don't make the first step. I need to receive that, be willing to work in that peace.
Yeah.
It's better if I'm the one that makes the first step, but someone kind of, the old phrase, extends that olive branch. I need to be willing to take that, and work
absolutely.
with them too. But here is part of that spirit that we need to have, fruit of the Spirit, but that also is an outgrowing, the fruit of the Spirit. I'm going to have a life that exemplifies peace, but it is hard.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note something you touched on. Peace is not compromise.
Yeah,
Not
always.
If we were to wind this back to talking about the peace that we find in God through salvation, through the blood of Jesus Christ, that's maybe the origin of our peace, if you will, knowing these things. But when we are having peace and harmony within ourselves and others, it's not compromising the will of God in any way.
Right. And, there may be some give and take as far as what I say or do in the relationship, but there's never a compromise, as you said, on what God has said. On making sure that we're doing all these things under the umbrella of His Word. That's a great thing for us to.
Yeah, they might build the peace between man to man, but it'll destroy the peace between you and God.
Exactly.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, we don't want that for sure. So as we continue to think about the fruit of the Spirit, we hope you're enjoying these and getting some things from them, and to help you consider these things that we all know they're biblical, but they're very difficult. And so to go back and study them, we think is helpful, and hopefully it's helping you as you watch these videos. Just a couple of reminders for our Lebanon Road folks. Most of these deal with some of our smaller children, and that is that this coming Saturday morning we'll have an art day for our kids that are involved in Last Leaders that are going to be doing art. And then on Sunday afternoon at 5:30, we're actually going to be the Last Leaders kickoff. So we're going to do Last Leaders before Last Leaders begins. I don't know how that works, but especially the parents who maybe have never gone before, or maybe have gone, or are still kind of unsure about what all they can do. At 5:30, there'll be a meeting for them, and looking at some of those things that deal with the Lads to Leaders. We want to continue to remind you that on September the 22nd through 25th, the 22nd will be our 60th anniversary and homecoming here at Lebanon Road, and that week, Sunday through Wednesday, will be our annual gospel meeting. Brother Dan Jenkins from West Palm Beach, Florida, will be with us, and we'll probably take a break from these videos in a couple of weeks to kind of preview that, or videos dealing with the fruit of the Spirit, I should say, to kind of preview that. But just be marking that on your calendar, September 22 through 25, and we look forward to you being with us then. Look forward to telling you more about it as it draws even closer. We hope you enjoyed this video concerning peace, and we look forward to back with you again next week as we consider another part of the fruit of the Spirit. Until then, this is This Week at Lebanon Road.